What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bringing It to the Ring podcast, coming at you guys today with another banger video. So today we're doing 5 WWE wrestlers that should go to AEW and 5 AEW wrestlers that should go to WWE. I think we can all agree in the world of professional wrestling, there are a lot of wrestlers that go through these companies, and not all of them end up going the way we expect them to. We become a fan of a lot of these wrestlers and they don't get to the point that they should in their career. But that doesn't mean they can't find greener pastures elsewhere. So we had to come up with a list of some that come to our mind that haven't really gotten to the point that we want them to be, but we feel like we'll probably be better in the opposite company. So we are going to get into it. But Wolf, we're gonna let you start off. Who is your number five wrestler that should go to WWE, and your five wrestler that should go to potentially AEW?
Okay, so my number five, I put this guy in number five simply because I'm honestly not sure if he even should go to WWE. He probably should retire.
Yikes.
Because he's been very injury slash unhealthy prone and kind of uh not being as good as he once was, but maybe it's just but I'm thinking it could just possibly be he's too slow for AEW. So my number five will for AEW to WWE will be Keith Lee.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That is a
yeah,
good one.
because yeah,
So
he just
you're
it
so
does
Keith
not
Lee to
work.
WWE for you. Okay. Who do you
My
have going to
number five
AEW?
for WWE to AEW would be I'm thinking here. Hold on. I think I'm gonna just go with the least likely one, seeing as this guy has just recently re-signed, and he is in a kind of in a big position. I would consider him a main eventer in WWE, but it's I'm very skeptical about how things are going, and I don't think he's getting what he deserves. I'm going to say Finn Balor.
Wow, that's
I would like
strong.
that though. Prince
That
Devitt in AEW would be
he would
pretty
be
fire.
killing it though, like
He'd
with
be
the
pretty
likes
fire.
of like Kenny Omega, Okada, Will
Yeah,
Ospreay, Hangman,
I was like
Moxley.
torn between Balor and AJ, but I think AJ is in a better spot than Balor is. Then I think
I don't
Balor.
know. I don't know. That's a hot. I don't know
I
because
mean,
Well,
AJ
he's
hasn't
still
really
in
AJ
built
that
a.
clear main event picture, and he's still putting on incredible matches, and is
I mean, when you
still
look at
like
the main event
realistic,
accolades,
like
then
to
yeah.
possibly like win a world title. Even if he never does, it's still like very reasonable to think he could win at any given moment. Balor, it's like no, he's most likely never winning a world title
And it sucks.
true. Yeah,
Wooly.
absolutely.
So
unless
who
things
for
change.
you?
But this
I mean,
new
you never
judgment day
know. You
stuff
never know. I
is
mean, that's the thing with WWE or just professional wrestling in general. You never
it's
know.
hard to see. I don't know what the pathway would for Balor would be like to get another world title reign.
That's true.
But Wooly, who do you have going to AEW as your number five, and who do you have going to WWE as your number five?
For WWE to AEW, mainly my number five pick was really like he should get out of WWE in general. It's like not very likely if he leaves, he'll go to AEW. But my number five is Apollo Crews.
Ooh, okay.
Don't get me wrong, Apollo Crews is very, very good in the ring, but I feel like he is so undervalued. He has all the tools besides maybe the promo ability, but
Mm-hmm.
Apollo Crews can hang with the very best, and he had all the potential in the world. I feel like anywhere else, Apollo Crews would be booked a little bit better. And I know people are
Yeah,
going to be like, well, you got 2 wins over Giovanni Vinci. Yeah, but that was just so that way they could say, haha, loser.
pretty
Giovanni
much.
Vinci's a
It's like
loser.
no
So Apollo
follow up.
Crews is a jobber in the WWE. I've always been a fan of Apollo Crews. I feel like I'd rather see him anywhere else than staying in WWE. My number 5 to go from AEW to WWE. This is mainly so they could do a little bit of a reunion. I'm going Serena Deeb.
Okay, because the
Serena
Straight
Deeb
Edge
and the Straight
Society.
Edge Society.
Okay,
Do
I
a little
love
bit
it.
of a
I love it.
callback.
I love it.
Like Serena Deeb is in a decent enough position in AEW, but it's like, do you see her winning a title? I don't see her winning a title.
Nah,
I don't see her
I
really
don't.
being in a
Unless they
big
put it in Ring of
program.
Honor, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
she's
would
a
put her
heel
in.
right now in
Yeah,
both
they recently just
AEW.
turned her back heel.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
both AEW champs are heels. So
Well,
I
it is
mean,
what it
maybe
is.
they can do it with Mercedes, but a match between
Maybe,
her and
but like
Mercedes.
it's
But
gonna
I
take
don't.
a lot of convincing before they end
It's
up
probably
doing it.
not smart, just because it's probably gonna have the Brit issue, which
You
uh,
don't want that. You don't want
yeah,
that
you
by any
don't
means.
want a slow person facing Mercedes.
No.
Yeah. So my number 5 is
Um,
Serena Deeb.
my
Interesting.
number 5 going to AEW is Tegan Knox. I think Tegan Knox is a great talent. The matches that she is capable of having in AEW, I will feel are a lot more interesting than the ones she can have in WWE. And they have her on the roster and aren't doing anything with her.
Yeah.
If you put her in AEW, they have a lot more opportunities for her. I feel like it may be going even on the indie scene at the same time as being employed in AEW and going to New Japan. Um, with her background and with her abilities that she can put on with numerous wrestlers across the board, from Mercedes to Britt Baker, to Julia, not Julia, but well, Julia Hart pretty much,
Julia
but just
Hart, yeah.
yeah. Like there's numerous wrestlers that I would love to see her face, like Tony Storm, even the current champ, Mariah May, Serena Deeb, Camille. I think she has a lot to offer the AEW women's division as far as like pretty much being seen like as a veteran. And I think she would very much fit well in wherever you put her, whether you put her in the main event scene, if you put her in the mid card, if you wanted to put it in Ring of Honor just for a little spell to kind of really get her stock up just a little bit, I think would be a great move for Ring of Honor as well. Maybe to potentially get more eyes on the product. But I think AEW would be a great move for her. Um, for WWE going to a no AEW going to WWE. Sorry. This might be a shocker for some people, but I say Brian Cage. I think Brian Cage has the athletic and the look that I think he would need to be a top WWE player. Unfortunately, AEW hasn't really capitalized the way I thought they would have. I think he had all the things going for him to be a potential main eventer there or a mid card or upper mid card talent, and they haven't really capitalized on him with that either. He's pretty much just there. You don't really see him on Dynamite a lot of the times. Most of the time, he's pretty much maybe on Collision at best. Maybe sometimes even Rampage. So I feel like they haven't really done much, but those are my number 5s really. Wolf, who do you have as your number 4s going to WWE and AEW?
Okay, so number 4, I think I'm gonna do for WWE to AEW is another person who just recently re-signed with WWE. Someone who I think has been kind of put down and not really appreciated and not given what she honestly deserves. And has essentially been given up on entirely. I'm not certain if AEW would treat her better. than WWE has, but I right now there's no hope for her in WWE. So for my number one, my number four pick from WWE to AEW is Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's
she was a
no
natural born
hope for
talent.
her in WWE anymore. I'm shocked she resigned because that is
It's
ridiculous.
that money.
Clearly the money. Yeah.
I
What are
mean,
your thoughts?
sure, but like, still, man, in terms of AEW to WWE, just someone I've thought of just recently, thanks to mostly Leo. And I will say Lance Archer is probably a good pick to go to WWE. I'd rather him go to New Japan, just because I feel like they probably are gonna treat him better. But WWE does seem to be decent with big guys, so I could see them at least doing slightly better than AEW than with booking Lance Archer.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So for my number 4 to go to from WWE to AEW, it's going to be someone that Leo recently mentioned. I'm going to go Tegan Knox. She's very talented. She is capable of putting out bangers. I mean, her NXT days proved that. Again, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell if AEW would really treat her better, but honestly, I'd rather her go there than what she's not doing in WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even pair Tegan Knox with somebody, make some crazy tag team, right? Or something like that. And then at least she'd be on TV. Because right now, what are you going to have Tegan Knox do besides maybe go back down to NXT? But that's
Maybe.
about it.
It's a
That's about
stretch.
it. So I will agree with the Tegan Knox going from WWE to AEW. I'd really like to see that.
Yeah.
My number 4 from AEW to WWE is going to be somebody that a lot of people like to say he's going to get released every single year. I'm going to say formerly known as Aleister Black, Malachi Black. Under this Triple H regime, I feel like Malachi Black would really do a lot better, even if you send him back down to NXT, give him the Shawn Spears treatment.
Yeah.
Because Aleister Black in NXT was something special. He delivered so many bangers against so many people, even people you wouldn't even expect to get bangers on. I mean, that was how the Velveteen Dream got over, was
Yeah.
because he had a banger with Aleister Black. So if you
Mhm.
brought Aleister Black back to the WWE with or without the rest of the House of Black, I feel like Malachi would be in such a better position, because by now he should have been a singles champion in AEW. Not to discredit the stuff he has done in trios competition, right?
Mhm.
Or tag team. But Malachi is purely a singles talent in my heart. Malachi is one hell of a talented competitor, and you're going to see me saying that a whole lot in this video. But I feel like Malachi Black should return as Aleister Black in the WWE. Probably won't happen anytime soon, but I would love for that to happen again.
That was a great one. That's a great one. I mean, you look at his history in NXT, it speaks for itself, and it's crazy to think that what he could have been on the
I
roster was
have
just.
disagreements, honestly, about some of the things Willie said.
Oh wow!
I'm
Wow.
sorry.
It's salty.
I knew
I
you would. I knew
I
you would.
so the thing is, Malachi certainly is good as a singles talent, but I always thought of him as someone who preferred doing tag team work. Um,
I don't know about that.
and like I find him kind of in the same, not like he's I would say he's better than, but still kind of in the same ballpark as Dax Harwood, where he has
Wow.
good singles matches, but he's more of a tag team guy. I think he just prefers it that way. He just prefers to do multi-man stuff. Um, for me, I think the only way Malachi should go back to WWE is if he's guaranteed main roster, main event slot. If he's not, he should not leave.
Okay, that was a
Like,
little
even if it means like feuding with people like Cody, with Roman, or if he goes to Raw with
Rollins and Punk or
Rollins
Drew.
or Damian or anyone. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna kind of go in the route of what Willie just did for the AEW going to WWE. I'm gonna say Adam Cole. I mean, we know he's currently dealing with the injury. I hope everything's going good with that as of right now. But I think before then, I just feel like if he used to come back, I don't know where he would fit. I feel like maybe if he comes back as a face, maybe you can have him be the one to take the title off Jack Perry, maybe. But even then, I feel like with the current landscape of WWE right now, with the Triple H regime, like think of him on the main roster, the match he can have with Roman, the matches he can have with Rollins, Drew, Punk, like there
Yeah.
are numerous different matches that I would love to see. And I think that's one thing I think a lot of Adam Cole fans feel like was something that we wanted to see for so long. We feel like we were robbed of him seeing him on the main roster. I think it was bound to happen, but then we knew what the plans were, and I'm glad that he didn't because I don't want to see him being a manager and having him shave his head. Like I don't want to see that. I'm sorry. Well, if you think that that's good television, I really don't get you.
no,
Um, but I do hope if I know he signs until at least like 2027. So there's still a long way off. There's still like about 3 more years. And who's to say that Tony Khan doesn't tack all that time that he's missed of entering action to his contract? So
he's missed like 2 years basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that might put him back even more to like 2029. Um,
yeah.
but I do hope that he does find his way back into WWE because I think there's still some things that I would love to see him do. Finally, get a main roster run. The matches you can have with those guys that I just named, even AJ and Finn Balor that I forgot to mention. I think those are some cool matches I would love to see as well. Um, but that's the guy who I have going from AEW to WWE. The person I have going from WWE to AEW is Candice LeRae. I think Candice LeRae is a woman that proven she is when she's given the green light, she can go. I fell in love with her wrestling because of the Indies match that she was having. One of the best matches that I remember her seeing her compete in was the match that she had with Cedric Alexander. Those two
Yes.
tore the house down. Her run in NXT was really good. And it sucked that she never really got to that main event level. It seemed like there was so many different times where she'll come close and close, but they never pull the trigger. They called her up to the main roster, and she's pretty much been in a tag team with Indy Hartwell. And it's pretty much she hasn't really done anything. She hasn't really been able to do much. I think the most notable thing that she's done is that little mini feud that she had with when it was just Indy Hartwell and Candice versus what was it? What was her name?
Maxine Dupree.
Maxine, and then
Vaccine, yeah.
yeah, and then that was it. Like
It's a heel turn.
she turned heel, and then I feel like they could have capitalized, and I feel like they could have created a narrative to get more people behind that story and behind everybody involved. But it fell flat, and she hasn't really done anything since she got moved to SmackDown. But we haven't really seen much of her since. Maybe she showed. I think she showed up like what once, and that was like maybe in the Queen of the Ring tournament, and that was it. So I really think her and AEW would be way better because she has the experience. She has the locker room stature that she brings, and I think the matches that she can have over there with the likes of Britt Baker, Mariah May, are just top tier matches that I think we need to see before she does call her because I think she's in her 30s, close to her 40s, so there isn't really that much time left in her in ring career. So I think we need to kind of do as much as we can with her while we still have her. But I don't know. Maybe her being a mom, I think that kind of took a toll too, as far as the creative stuff. But I think even then, that's not really an excuse. But I think her and AW is something I would love to see for sure. But Wolf, who is your number 3?
I did want to say one thing before I
Mhm.
get to that regarding your choice of Adam Cole. Um, I understand it, but like regarding what's happening now, what the situation he's in now, there is one thing that I would need to say instead. If Adam gets another injury back to back to back,
He should retire
he should retire.
Oh, usually, yeah.
easily.
Because
I
this is
100% agree.
this is the second like long-term injury he's come like faced. If he faces another one, he can't continue.
That's
Like,
why I didn't put Adam Cole in my list.
even,
I was
even
going
if he goes to WWE, like I don't think it would be.
I was gonna consider like it was either gonna be him or I was gonna go with a different name, but Willie took it, so I didn't want to
Yeah.
do the same thing. I want to do something
Who
different.
did I take? Who did I take that you didn't? Serena Deep?
No, the one you just named before I
Oh,
went on.
Malachi.
I wanted to pick Malachi too, but then you said it, so I was like, okay, I have to
Yeah,
go
okay.
to
I
a
got you.
second option. That was like my second option.
So number 3 is for me for AEW going to WWE. Given that he just recently requested his release, I will say Miro. I don't think it's working out. It's not a matter of him being not used well. It's just I think things are not clicking between him and creative. Just they're not working together. They're not agreeing on things. It's just not working out. It really sucks because the Redeemer gimmick is so good.
Really, yeah.
But it has never gotten anywhere. Miro kind of hasn't done anything since his TNT title run. So I really don't know. I don't think they can do anything with him in AEW. I think he should just go back to WWE and I don't know. Probably go back to. He'll probably be put back in NXT, if, in all honesty. But I anything.
No, I think he could be on the main roster.
I think he'd be on the main roster on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, if he goes back, he'll be Miro, not Rusev.
If he goes back to WWE, he'll be Miro and not Rusev.
He'll be Miro, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
That'll be
I
fine.
don't know. I just maybe
People-
either as a top name in NXT or like he'll be introduced in probably the Rumble like Andrade did.
that's fine. I'm totally fine with that.
I don't know. Regarding WWE to AEW, this is weird because I'm gonna be real. My number 3 pick. It's probably not correct that I'm saying this because more so I'd want them in TNA than AEW, but right now they're just not working in WWE. In fact, it is an entire faction, an entire buried faction
I think I know.
that lost a must-win match at WrestleMania 40.
The final
Akam,
testament, bro.
Razor, Scarlett, and Karrion Cross, and
He ain't going
put in-
to
and Paul Ellering too, because
Paul Ellering.
Ellering's not doing anything right now.
I don't think he gonna go to AEW, bro.
AEW is not gonna book him much better, but like it'd be
If they could put Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard in fucking AEW, they could do it for Paul Ellering. Let's be real.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
could
mean,
they
yeah,
could
they
add
can, but
Rachel
it's-
into the Final Testament.
There
Paul.
you go.
Give Rachel Ellering something to do instead of just being on ROH.
All right.
Yeah.
So my number 3, they actually match Wolf's completely. My AEW to WWE is Miro, and my WWE to AEW is Karrion Cross. You gotta it matched completely for my number threes.
That's crazy.
So
That is so crazy.
For Miro, it's like he was so over in the WWE, bro. Rusev Day was my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely loved Rusev Day.
I
But
did.
even if he goes back as Miro, it's like I feel like yeah, it was a problem with AEW creative specifically. I see a lot of people say, "Oh, but why would you want him to go to WWE? He's doing the that doesn't work for me, brother," kind of thing. It's like that means they probably booked him in stupid ass bullshit. If you ask me,
Yeah,
they must have booked him in some pretty terrible stuff because Rusev has done some pretty terrible stuff in WWE, but
he
he
does a
still went.
lot
He
again.
still he still went through with it.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we said it in the All Out watch along last year. Could you imagine if they paired up CJ Perry with Will Hobbs? Miro probably didn't want to do that again.
Oh
yeah. Oh.
no,
He was probably
nah.
like,
Because
nah,
here's the
nah.
thing, and that's crazy. He
If
went through with it. Like,
anything, and another thing is, I think WWE can. I think it would be interesting for WWE to utilize a gimmick like the Redeemer. Um,
Exactly.
I think it
that would
would be
fit.
something new and something
I'm
interesting.
trying to think though. Like,
Especially in NXT. The
especially
Redeemer
that's what I was about to
would
say because
fit
I feel like
very
with
good
these
in
type of
NXT.
gimmicks like that, like these spooky gimmicks and like the Redeemer gimmick, I feel like they would fit way better in NXT than they would on main roster because we look at like different gimmicks, like for example, Kiana James with the lawyer type gimmick. That really got her over at NXT, but it really hasn't got over with the main roster. I
She
feel
hasn't
like
even
mainly that's
appeared
because a
on
lot
there.
of the fans don't really
She
watch.
tore her ACL like
But I'm
right
just saying,
after.
like, I'm just saying the gimmick though, like the gimmick.
Yeah,
I feel like it got her over in NXT, but on the main roster, it hasn't really gotten over. Maybe I mean timing is an issue for sure because with her injury,
also
but I think at the
roster
same time
size.
they haven't really done. I just don't think a lot of the fans, at least the casuals, watch NXT. I think NXT is mainly for like the diehards of just WWE in general, like us. Not
Yeah,
everybody watches NXT, so I think that's why you see a lot of
myself
them don't
included.
really get over as much if they're not like well known before they got to WWE. They really don't get us over as much. But I think I will agree with you what you said though, Willie. I will agree with the people that you have came up with.
And my point with Karrion Cross, real quick,
Okay.
is like Karrion Cross when he came back from the first time he was released, bro, he was gonna be in the Bloodline storyline. He was gonna like
Yeah.
he
And
was like
everyone
literally
was
right
excited
there.
for him to come
Yeah,
back.
everyone was hyped.
Excited.
It's like,
Was
bro,
hyped.
we're getting Roman versus Karrion for the WWE belt. Sign me up, brother. I was definitely one of those people.
Yeah,
I mean,
But
so
then
like
it
that
I
was like
understood pivoting to
it was
Drew when
wrong.
Drew was a babyface because Karrion's a heel. They don't want to do a heel versus heel thing, and Karrion and Drew was actually pretty honestly, I think, a decent feud. Um, but like,
it's like after that they haven't really done much
You
with
could
it.
have put Cross as a tweener though in that feud.
You
Just
could
had him
yeah,
have.
be a tweener.
You could have had him become a tweener where you were just, for that feud, he could have just been a face. That was just an unhinged baby face though. And I
Just,
think the fans would have definitely
just like a
ate that up if they did.
justified heel where it's like it's my destiny to win that belt to get that satisfaction.
And
Like,
I
oh,
came back for it.
I've suffered all those like setbacks. You could still have him be like the heelish
yeah,
self, but just be like, I just want your belt. Like
We've
I'm
seen that
taking
that
that
play
title
happen
from you.
before. We've
Yeah,
seen characters like play that role very well.
like
yeah.
the
Um
justified heel. I mean, Drew McIntyre is a
Drew
very good example.
McIntyre, I
And the
think
thing is, not
even with
only that,
Cody,
but
I
like
think both
when
of
they
those
introduced the
fit
Final
that
Testament,
character.
it was good. The idea
It had
worked.
potential in
The
the early
idea
I
is
mean for good.
incredible.
The idea, it's just the
How you
execution is really
drop
tough.
the ball for a minor nostalgia pop at WrestleMania 40 for Bubba Ray is insanity. Like,
Bubbles.
The fact they got Bubba Ray but didn't even bother to bring Devon. That's what
yeah. And the
I,
thing is,
I was
I would
confused.
rather have not seen Bubba Ray at WrestleMania 40 if
yeah.
we're gonna bury Final Testament like that.
But so yeah,
Agreed.
like Karrion Cross had so much promise. He was it looked like he was going to feud for the WWE title. Then he became kind of a jobber. Now he's like one of those simps on Twitter, being like, "Hey, I think you're really good. You should be in my faction.
And then
Come
I
join my
think
fan
recently
club."
on Twitter, I believe I seen him advocate for maybe bringing like an Extreme Rules type of championship in WWE. Um, And I looked at it and I'm like,
Hardcore championship.
yeah, a
Let's go.
hardcore type title. And I'm
Love for the
like,
hardcore
I
title.
wouldn't be mad at the idea of them bringing that in. I just feel like with the all the sponsorships that they have going on, I don't think WWE would risk
Probably not.
doing something like that.
Not unless they want to do something that's like strictly YouTube or something where you don't have to worry about sponsors.
Pretty
But
much, but like even then, I wouldn't
even then, they would want their sponsors.
exactly.
So yeah, that's it for my number 3.
Okay, so my number 3 going to AEW, is another women's wrestler, Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai is another wrestler on the women's roster that I feel like is very underrated, and I feel like hasn't really gotten the opportunity to step out of her shadow and really show what she's capable of doing. I started becoming a fan of her when she was in NXT UK. I think she just played that underdog babyface really well, and then she got moved over to NXT. We saw the feud between her and Shayna Baszler, which I was one of those guys at the time that was thinking you could turn this into a really great story, having Dakota Kai potentially be the one to defeat this unbeatable Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. And I think another thing that I also will agree kind of plays against her as potentially being something big in the WWE is the amount of injuries that she has sustained over time. And I think when you look at her, you want your wrestlers to be healthy, of course. And we understand at the same time, it's a very combat type sport, so injuries do happen. But the thing is, when you look at a wrestler like that and you want her to be at the top of your company, if she's constantly getting injuries, you can't rely on her in that way. So I feel like in the sense of her becoming a main eventer, I don't think it's gonna happen. If we had a mid card, I think she'll be a great candidate for that. But unfortunately, we don't have that. Maybe you could send her back down to NXT. I would love to see what she can do, and she can be part of this NXT TNA type of stuff. Because I would love to see her show up in the TNA Impact Zone for a quick spell and have her go up against Jordan Grace and other wrestlers that are there. But I think AEW, I think, will be a great place for her because she can really thrive over there with the numerous talent that they have, and she can even display her work on the indie scene as well, and potentially and New Japan. So I would love to see her going back to her roots and going back to what started it all for her. Going to WWE though, I'm gonna be just like you guys. I think Miro is another guy that I would love to see back in WWE. I think with the Triple H regime, I think he would be treated a little bit better. I know under the previous regime, he did become numerous time U.S. champion. He was the runner-up in the 2015 Royal Rumble against Roman Reigns, which a lot of people have forgotten. Um, but I think he has great success. I mean, he beat John Cena. I think that's a really big accomplishment, and the long, lengthy reign that he had as U.S. champion. I think the thing that kind of diminished his push a little bit is the when he got into that storyline. I think it was in 2015 post Mania, going into the later part of 2015. It was Lana and Ziggler versus Rusev and Summer Rae, and when it came out that Lana and Rusev were married and that picture leaked, I think it got both of them in serious trouble to the point Lana got pulled off TV for like a couple of months, and Rusev wasn't seen for a little bit either. So I think that moment kind of diminished their push. And then this Rusev stuff took really over. People was literally chanting this, and the whole point of it was to be this anti American against America and be a heel, and it got over. It got over. The fact that you wanted this stuff to be a heel act and it got this over and you failed to do anything with it is crazy to me. It's a travesty. It is a crime that I don't understand. Like, you had this guy be so over, right? When I remember watching, what was it, Royal Rumble 2018, this guy was over. He was in the first two. People wanted to see him potentially go all the way and become win the whole thing, but it didn't happen. I think he got eliminated by Baron Corbin, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Considering where he was at the time. I think he was transitioning into this Constable stuff. Let's not even talk about that. But
Yeah, it was
still,
like the lone wolf, like a couple months.
and I feel
before.
like him in WWE right now, I think would be cool. Like you said, he could be at NXT. I think that the gimmick itself would be way better. I feel like, and I would love to see what it could be like on the main roster. I think some of the matches that I would love to see him do over there were kind of cool too. I think you have a lot of the same players that you do have from a while back. You could do him in Punk if you wanted to. You could do him in Drew. You could do him in Rollins. You could do him in Reigns if you wanted to with this babyface stuff. You could do him in Cody. You could do him in
You
AJ.
could do Miro and Wade Barrett if Wade Barrett gets cleared again.
Hey man, you could.
That'd be fire.
Maybe reunite 3 of the 4 members of League of Nations and actually do something with it if you want to do.
Yeah.
But let's not fully fantasy book, but still, I think him being back in WWE is something very interesting. I hope that if it does happen, they do go all in with him, because I think, like Wolf said, when he was the Redeemer character as TNT champion, I think he really proved that he can be a really star attraction if given the green light to do so. So I would like to see him back in WWE at some point in the near future. But Wolf, who is your number 2?
Number 2 is for both switches, I guess, are going to be women. For number 2, WWE to AEW is someone that we have talked about a little bit before. I think she is one of the best women on the planet, basically. And I would say she's probably more talented than like half the WWE women's roster, if not more. And that is Candice LeRae. The fact that she is a jobber right now, and barely seen, is ridiculous. It's a war crime. It's like it's like literally like almost terroristic booking at this point. It's crazy. Like, yeah, Candice should not be like at this low level that she's at. She should be, and honestly, like high mid card to main event level status, because she's that good. Like, even if you want to say, oh, she's not that good at promos, which I think is nonsense.
I think she's all right.
Yeah, like I put her a high mid carder at least, but like a jobber is like, no. You should be ashamed of yourself for doing that. In terms of AEW to WWE, is someone I mentioned. I did some fantasy booking in our Guessing the Rumble video, and I think it only makes sense because now she's kind of proven time and time again she is too slow for AEW. I don't think she works. It's just she's not keeping up to speed. She's kind of getting outclassed easily, and that it's crazy because she's arguably she's pretty much the most pushed woman in AEW since day one. It is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Oh, you even have Tony Khan busting earloaded right there.
I'm sorry, like she's
gonna have a heart attack with that one.
She's not. She doesn't work. She's like getting out. Like she keeps getting pushed in the main event scene, and she's not at that level. Like,
No.
arguably, she's never been at that level, except when there was like no one else in AEW. Like everyone else was like mid Carter, lower mid Carter or less. That was when Britt was world champion, and then Shida came in and instantly took the title from her. Yeah. So it's like now there's like so like a handful of women that are just completely outclassing Britt. Completely, like, objectively better. Athena is easily better since she's dominant, basically carried all of ROH on her back.
Pretty much.
Deanna is better than Britt. Shida is better than Britt. Jamie is better than Britt. Statlander, I'd argue, is better than Britt. Mercedes, we know Mercedes is better than Britt because
that's not even the question.
Britt was the only reason that All-In match was terrible. It wasn't even that bad. It was like just underwhelming. Willow is better than Britt. I'd say Serena Deeb is better than Britt,
The
even
whole
though
roster pretty much at that
Yeah.
perhaps slightly
Besides
more
maybe Soraya.
Thunder
Oh,
Rosa. Yeah.
brother.
There are people that there are people
I
that
would
are
say even Harley Quinn, bro.
they're like there are people that Brit is definitely better than, but it's like
Whatever her name
basically all
is.
the jobbers. Yeah, like pretty much all the jobbers are the only ones that are not better than Brit. Like at this rate, at the rate things are going, people like Anna Jay are going to be better than Britt Baker in
Oh, I
AEW.
just thought of a woman that's literally better than her, and she's pretty much been doing her own thing. Harley Cameron.
Yeah, Harley's been improving. Like I wouldn't say she's better yet, but she's going to
She's
be.
way well, she's catching up at that point. Like
Oh, yeah.
She's very much catching up. Yes, like Sky Blue is becoming better than Brit. Julia is becoming better than Brit. Like there's
there's a lot of people that are kind of getting to the point where they're catching up. Like
Red
you have
Velvet,
Queen
Queen
Aminata
Laminata.
being
It's
built
like
up. When Tay Mello's is ready, maybe she's gonna be something really
probably
good.
her too. I wouldn't be surprised
Taya
if they build
Valkyrie, I
her up
think, has
enough.
potential.
I could see maybe Marina Shafir will end up being looking better than Britt does. I'm not holding my breath, but
That's crazy.
it's crazy. Like, yeah, I think it's just a matter of she doesn't fit the style of AEW anymore, and I think that's why Britt must go to WWE. Yeah, as soon as possible. She's not going to, but she needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Khan ain't gonna let that happen.
He would literally lose his mind if
He would. It'd be over for that women's division. Because you can only rely on Mercedes for so long.
Before she decides to like
I mean, literally, Jamie's back, so just
I'm
just
gonna
do
do Mandalorian
everything you
season
did with
4.
Britt with Jamie. Jamie is literally outclassing her, way better than her, and she's like arguably the best woman on the roster. So like literally, arguably, yeah. I would say she is, to be honest, because like the only like other ones that are on that level is like Sheeta, Tony, and Athena. And Athena is carrying ROH, so technically not Athena. So it's just Tony and Sheeta. But like literally just use Jamie the same way you do Britt. She's good enough for it. Like it would be worth it. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well,
my number 2 is a woman that both of y'all have talked about, Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae should get the fuck out of there, man. She is too much of a jobber. Like, go over to AEW. Like, the reason why I picked Candice LeRae is a lot like, you know how AEW loves to do those women's death matches? Those ones where they really go over the edge.
Fits that.
Out of all the women on that roster, bro, Candice LeRae is the one that can fit that the most besides Shayna Baszler. But Candice LeRae would be a good fit, I'd feel like, even if you want to lead like an all-women's faction, or you want to do like a sick, demented, crazy, poison pixie lady. Candice LeRae fits that. Now, would I think that she'd be a main event caliber wrestler? Hell no. But TBS champion could be a very good contender. And Candice LeRae, I feel like, would elevate that. And especially if she doesn't go to AEW and goes over to the indies, she can do what she did before and get more eyes on whatever product that she goes on, especially in intergender matches or matches with Cedric Alexander, Keith Lee, etc. Candice LeRae could really, really go. And I feel like she should indeed get out of WWE while she still has the capability in ring at the moment. Yeah. In terms of number 2 from AEW to WWE, I'm going to go Wardlow, the man I fantasy booked in my Royal Rumble, Mr. Mayhem. He had so much promise. He started off as a bodyguard. Then when he turned face, he was TNT champion. They did absolutely nothing with him. They gave him 2 more reigns. Then he was completely off TV, came back at the Undisputed Kingdom, got a world title match, and then
Lost.
buzzed off. Absolutely, like
Thing is,
nowhere.
his TNT title reign was actually like promising.
His first one was good.
His
The first one had promise.
Good. And then one before it was about to be good and legitimate and realistic, we buried him by having him lose to the ROH television champion Samoa Joe.
Yep.
Who did not need that belt. Like Will Hobbs needed that belt more than Joe did, and we gave it to Joe.
Even then, you still gave it to Will Hobbs, but it didn't mean anything because that was the time where the TNT Championship was literally, okay, let's give it to them. That's it. And then we'll do nothing.
Give it to everyone. Yeah, basically.
Give it to basically everyone.
Except Darby. Darby's the only one at that time who was allowed to have an actual title reign.
Basically.
Pretty much.
So Wardlow definitely has that look, right? He is the big guy. So Wardlow versus Obafemi. Do it. Wardlow is so good, man. And here's the thing. If you're so worried about promos, you're so worried about all that, put him with a fucking manager. Wardlow would be fine. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, but he can't cut promos. That's what managers are for.
First of all, he's literally fine in promos. 2, that did not stop Brock Lesnar at all.
No, for sure. If anything, that helped Brock Lesnar
get Brock Lesnar. Like, can you imagine Paul Heyman with Wardlow?
Oh God, that'd be fun.
Get out the way and just don't look back.
Yeah, that would be amazing. So Wardlow in NXT or the main roster could really thrive. And Wardlow, especially if we were still in the old regime, I would say he'd be world champion. That is how confident I am in Wardlow. If he were to go to WWE in the old regime, he would be a world champion because he's so good in the ring. And of course, big sweaty man. So my number 2 pick, Wardlow.
Okay. My number 2, going to AEW is another woman that I think people will probably be shocked by, and that is Piper Niven. I think Piper Niven is a talent that made her name all around the world that she's been, and she's had some great matches. The matches that she had with Kaylee Ray in NXT UK really just showed how special of a talent that she really was, and she gets moved straight over to the main roster, skipping NXT altogether, and just gets put with Eva Marie as
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
What were we doing? What were we doing, WWE? You put her, one of your best talents in NXT UK, period, who was one of the best women, period. And you put her with Eva Marie and make her a manager that doesn't even get her name, and you call her Doudrop. What were we thinking?
That was clearly a fat joke.
Exactly. And then what has she done? She's won the women's tag team titles, but that hasn't nothing to write on back.
Technically, she didn't even win them. Technically, she didn't even win
She didn't win them. No.
He said, "I'd be your partner," and then
yoinked them.
I'll be your partner.
She's never really won a title. She was giving the title on a silver platter, bro.
She didn't even give it. She fucking took it.
She's old. She took it.
I mean, I will admit her work with Chelsea is very hilarious.
It was good, but I feel like at the same time, in a sense, I feel like it's kind of ran its course because it seemed like when you look at the partnership, it's done more for Chelsea than it has done for Piper when it should have been about elevating both women to that next level. Because if we were to introduce a women's mid-card right now, we can honestly say the one that's more ready to be a champion based off what they have accomplished and how they have evolved and have gotten better and have improved, it will go to Chelsea easily.
Dakota
Piper has not done much. She just lost to literally Michin recently in a very short match.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to take her serious as being a potential threat?
She was given a women's title shot just because Scotland.
Exactly.
That was
And the match was
literally that.
good. Don't get me wrong.
It
The
was a
match
good
That was
match.
good.
That was
Pretty
like one of my
good.
favorite matches on the card. But at the same time, like you said, they just gave her that title match out of pity just because she was born in Scotland, not because she's worked hard, not because she's put in the work to get an opportunity. They just gave her the opportunity, and did she win? No. And
Of
has
course
she
not.
done anything since? Heck no. She hasn't
Nope.
done anything. She's pretty much just been right back where she was, pretty much being just the bodyguard for Chelsea Green. That's it.
Yeah.
The person who I think should go to WWE though, we already said it, Wardlow. I think Wardlow in either regime would be a world champion. Don't You can quote me on that. You can quote us on that because we pretty much said it.
Yeah,
And I
I
feel
already.
like the matches that he can have, like when you have these bigger than life type of guys, I feel
Oh,
like
Bronson Reed and Wardlow.
like think of the matches that he can work. Like you said, him versus Obafemi. I would love to see them do that. Him versus Roman Reigns, him versus Braun Strowman, him versus Bronson Reed, him versus Braun Breaker. I would love to see those matches. Hey, if you wanted to put him in NXT and have him be part of this TNA stuff, have him versus Moose. I would
Yes.
love to see those matches because those
Alex
matches would
Hammerstone.
even him. I would love to see that. Those matches would get me hyped. Those matches would get me intrigued to see what they're doing. Like, you can't tell me that he does not have what it takes to be something good. Like you said, he was a bodyguard and for the Pinnacle when that was a thing. And he broke off and he became a household name to an extent. Look what he did to MJF. He beat him very quickly. He beat him without breaking a sweat. And what did they do to capitalize on that? Pretty much nothing. They didn't. They gave him the TNT title. He had all the potential in the world to have a good reign. He lost it to Samoa Joe. He won it back. And then what did he do? He loses it to none other than Will Hobbs. And what did he do? He took some time off, came back to be part of the Undisputed Kingdom as a bodyguard. Looked like they were going to do something to potentially set up him versus Adam Cole if they were to get the AEW championship off of MJF. And what did they do? They flopped that too. And what happened? He ain't been seen since.
Yeah.
And it's like, he needs to leave. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. If you think he is going to stay in AEW, you're tripping. If you think he's better off in AEW, you're tripping because his career has been a big what if to me. I'm sorry. His career is summed up at what if. What if he was given this opportunity? What if he beat this person? What if he was in this storyline? What if he was in that storyline? What happens if he would have went to Ring of Honor? It's a big what if to me. So I think he needs to go to WWE, and I think he would be treated way leagues better in WWE than AEW. But you're number one, Wolf.
And that is why, basically, all the reasons both of you have said for your number 2 pick, AEW to WWE, number 1 is Wardlow. Yeah, he was literally buried. Like that there's I don't care if you want to say, oh, the word buried is overused. No, for Wardlow, it is justified. He was 100% objectively buried.
You look up the word buried in the dictionary. Fucking Wardlow's face.
It is Wardlow. Yeah. It's so dumb. There was zero reason to give Joe what's it called? The TNT title from Wardlow. You could have just had Wardlow retained. If you wanted to have Darby get a transitional second reign, you could do that with Wardlow. Just have Wardlow take it back, and then have Wardlow face Christian, and then or Luchasaurus and lose it to Luchasaurus, and then by extension Christian. So yeah, I think it was just very silly to give it to Joe and then give it to Hobbs, and then it was just so dumb. We could have had like a very dominant reign, and with Wardlow as TNT champ, and build him up towards being a main event level talent, and Tony just decided no.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was gonna say someone different for number 1 if it was not going to WWE, because this man that I had in mind for my number one. It should absolutely fucking not go to WWE. It would probably be treated somehow worse than
Who is
AEW.
it?
But I do think he does need to leave. If he does not beat Kazuchika Okada for the Continental title, Konosuke Takeshita must leave AEW.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Okay.
Takeshita needs to go to New Japan if he doesn't beat Okada. I know they'd want to probably run Okada versus Omega, but the goal should be Takeshita taking the title from Okada. Hell, have Omega cost Okada the title and then do just without a title Omega Okada, because Omega and Okada doesn't really need a title, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's
No, it
like
doesn't.
a perfect matchup. That's like one of the best matchups in history, and like it doesn't need a title. It would be better with a title, but it doesn't need a title. Just have him go at it. But yeah, Takeshita needs something as soon as possible. If he doesn't beat Okada, then there's no hope for him, and he needs to go to New Japan. For WWE to AEW, I really struggled with this because this guy, I'm worried would not be treated that well, mostly for the reasons that I stated. Takeshita is not treated that well in AEW, but I think he'll be slightly better in AEW.
I have a
than
feeling I know who it is too.
My number one for WWE to AEW is Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura is literally like I understand he's getting older now and whatnot, but in New Japan, he was literally on the level of AJ and Prime Okada. Like, he was easily one of the best in the world, and now you just kind of basically killed all his momentum. He did fine with them in NXT, and I understand like he was in NXT because he was a foreign talent. He was needed to learn the system and everything. That's fine, but main roster, he had like a couple mid-card title reigns, and they were
because he would win.
They were shitty.
Be shown for months.
I think he
They
had
had
like
potential.
a U.S. title reign, which was like maybe fine, but it was probably
No, both
don't even get me
both
started.
the
His Intercontinental
his
Championship.
IC title feuds were all horrible. Yeah, I know that his IC title reigns were all horrible, but
That man,
I think he
won
had a
his-
U.S. title reign
did.
that was
Yeah,
like
he had a
He had, like,
US.
two, I
fine.
believe.
It wasn't.
Yeah, he had
it was
two
like,
US reigns.
it
He
felt
won the
like
tag
a
team
decade
titles
ago,
against
so it's
Cesaro.
like it's
Tag
not
team.
really relevant. So yeah, it was like ages ago that everyone would forget by now.
And then he lost the title to R-Truth, which is crazy.
I remember that it was a shoot.
It wasn't supposed to happen.
It wasn't.
Shinsuke. I think he's
That's how
probably.
you know you need to leave.
I don't think he'll be treated much better in AEW, but if
He could do New
Tony
Japan.
decides, maybe Tony will think highly of Shinsuke like he does seemingly with Ricochet, and I don't know, maybe if he thinks Nakamura is still like he would still consider Nakamura on the level of like Okada and Omega and all the others, then it's like, yeah, I could see him doing better, but it's like kind of a long shot. There were a couple other guys that I wasn't sure if I should put them.
We'll do honorable mentions of people that we wanted to probably go on at the end of the video.
I think my main honorable mentions would be, I guess, going along with Balor at number 5, but I will just put him lower, is Anderson and Gallows, because they're not doing anything in WWE. I feel like they were doing better in AEW, and they weren't doing much different in AEW than in WWE. They were still a tag team. They were still like kind of just elite / Bullet Club guys, basically. But like still, it felt like they were slightly more relevant. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Willie, who do you have as your number ones?
My number one from WWE to AEW actually matches Wolf's. I am also going to go the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. Mainly because I couldn't really find like anyone else out of everyone.
I might have one that's gonna shock a lot of people.
Out of everyone, I felt like Nakamura was the most likely. Of course, currently not on TV as of this recording. But even then, his stuff on the main roster was what really killed his career, more specifically that heel turn at WrestleMania 34.
Oh Lord.
What they were smoking to think that was a good idea. What?
The heel turn is fine, but having him lose a must-win match at WrestleMania, like there was
he had it written in the pudding.
It's crazy though, Willie. He, like you said, he had it. He had the opportunity of a lifetime. You eliminate John Cena, a huge star,
and Roman Reigns
to win the Rumble. You choose AJ, and then what happens? You lose at a WrestleMania.
And not only that, he got 4 other rematches in the same year.
Like he lost at what?
Stupid.
Greatest Royal Rumble.
Greatest Royal Rumble.
Bank,
it was like
Backlash.
Double Count Out. Money in the Bank. It was like a DQ. Backlash was double low blow, and then all the other ones were like fucked. But Nakamura, yeah, his mid card title reigns, never seen, never defended them at all. Neither of his reigns, neither of his 4 mid card reigns. And
those were terrible.
Oh, he lost in first defense on the IC reigns, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They paired him with Sammy for a while, then they paired him with Cesaro to win the tag titles.
Yeah, the Cesaro tag title was fine, but even then they didn't do shit in that reign either. Yeah. So Nakamura, if he wants to cook, he can cook. I mean, even if this wasn't AEW specific, put him in Pro Wrestling Noah, put him in New Japan, put him anywhere.
You can even put him in TNA if you want to.
You can even put him in TNA.
Yeah.
He could
and the thing is, we know he can still and some people were like telling me, "Oh, he's older now. He's not as good. Like Seth. He's past it." Yeah, literally. I don't know why people are trying to like rewrite history and say like, "Oh, the feud with Seth wasn't that good." It was literally awesome. It was literally
that anime villain like promo.
It was like probably the best. I'd argue the best work that we've seen of Nakamura in a while.
Agreed.
Yeah. So my number one from WWE, no, AEW to WWE, I thought was going to be the most obvious. The Revolution will be televised and streamed on Netflix. Ricky Starks going to WWE. Not only because Vince McMahon just posted a photo. What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah,
I got a Twitter notification. He had a statement. All right, hold on. I'm going to bring the point about Ricky Starks first.
Basically, he's mauling over the...
He's talking about like...
He's going to talk about the documentary, right?
He said he knows about it. He's fine with it. And then he says something about he was just having fun.
What? Hold on.
He said things are like manipulated or taken out of context.
Oh, the Netflix. Let me read this and then I'll talk about Ricky Starks. I'm going to read it briefly.
Cool.
I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflicting the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. The title and promos alone make that evident. A lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks with out-of-context footage and dated sound bites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am, in fact, Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story. Well, now I'm definitely watching this fucking documentary.
Okay, I'm gonna
stupid
watch
piece of
regardless,
shit.
but like I'm gonna keep an open mind that you're a predator, bro.
I'm gonna keep an open mind that I shouldn't take anything you say seriously. I'm clipping this.
Exactly, because like you have been caught. There are literally messages that got leaked, my guy.
Exactly.
There's very
Messages of
thorough
what you said,
evidence
and
of what
police
you've
reports.
done
I said this in my video.
several times.
I
By
said,
the way,
I said this in my video months ago. For someone to give like very detailed like descriptions of what happened with that Janelle Grant, where it's like, oh, pulled her hair, defecated on her,
That was disgusting.
stuff like that.
And then
You'd
not
have
even
to be
that,
sick.
the
You'd
hush
have to be
money- the
sick
hush
to
money
lie
scandal.
about that. You'd have to be sick to lie about that. What? You're gonna fantasize about yourself being? I don't even want to repeat it.
At this
Who
point,
would want
at
to?
this
Who would want
point,
to imagine that?
At this point, just
Yeah, it's
the
not
only thing he needs to be
realistic.
fantasizing about is what his jail cellmate's gonna have to say about this, or what he's gonna have to say.
Oh my goodness! So, you know that movie scene with Mark Henry?
Yeah,
You better
I know
hang
what
up
you're
that
talking
computer
about.
call. I'm feeling romantical. This video's taking a completely different.
No, hey, I already know who his cellmate should be. Another disgusting outlaw.
No,
like
you're
himself,
not.
Lars Sullivan.
Oh, Lars Sullivan. Okay, I thought you were gonna do like the bad boy for life.
Oh no! I ain't gonna do that now.
A specific
That's
Puff
taking
Daddy.
that's taking it too far.
Yeah, no, we ain't
it's
talking
like
about that.
the fact that you have gotten not only accused but pretty much outcasted because of the stuff that you did, and it's been shown. You can't
and
debate
it's
that.
been
You have
thoroughly
literally-
detailed
literally-
multiple times over.
and
like,
even the hush money stuff before like this whole Janelle Grant stuff
Like
came out.
$13 million
And it's like
company
why,
money.
if that was the case, if you had nothing to hide, then what was the point? What was it about? Because you clearly didn't tell everybody what it's about. You said it, you gave it to women's wrestlers. Why would you keep it a secret? What was it because of what? Why did you want them not to tell anybody? Because you probably did something disgusting.
I'm gonna say this, like I am not someone who usually wishes bad things or harm to
Put that man
other.
under the cell.
No, I'm gonna just say this. I don't care if I get canceled or anything. The day that Vince McMahon is gone from this world, I'm going to be happy. The world will be a better place once he's gone.
The stupidest thing about
Hey,
that
Punk
is
called it.
wrestling wouldn't be where it is without Vince
Okay, I'll
McMahon.
put it
I
like
don't
this.
care.
I don't
I'm gonna put it
care.
like this. I'm gonna put it
Nobody
like this.
should care.
I'm gonna put it like this. I will respect Vince because of what he did for the business, how he helped elevate it to like where it could be right now. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I can't
It's not
dismiss.
hard to
I
be
I can't dismiss the stuff that he's been
a
accused
normal
of
person.
doing. I can't excuse that. That
That my-
is unexcusable.
my
That is causing
biggest-
trauma on somebody's life.
Exactly.
And I don't agree with that.
Exactly. To your point, my biggest criticism about all of this is like all the sympathizers, all the people that are like, "Oh, but
They're part
you
of the
you
problem.
don't know." It's like, dude, imagine if that was your mother. Imagine that
Would
was your
you- or-
sister, your friend, your fucking
Exactly.
girlfriend. Dude, you'd want him dead. You
Oh,
would.
I would do it myself if I had to. If I had
Exactly,
the opportunity
Yep.
to. Like I'm
I
not going for
would.
that.
I'd go out there with Lucille from The Walking Dead, bro. I would.
If
I-
could you imagine like if that is somebody's daughter though, like if
Oh,
my
if I-
daughter
if
came home and told me that somebody
someone
did,
did
this
that to my
her-
daughter, bro.
it's gonna be a bloodbath.
It's
a
going to
bloodbath.
be on like Donkey Kong, man.
It's gonna be a
It-
best believe we're gonna have a death match. Best believe we're gonna have a death match for real. And
it's going to be the main event. It's going to be a lights out match, bro.
Because-
If
and I
someone
would tell them
did that,
NDA so
like,
I don't be sued for what I did.
I would probably like basically burn the world down. I'd be like,
yeah, that
Hey, you
that's
talking about Seth
insane.
Rollins burn it down?
Burn
we
it
will
down, dude.
I'll burn it down. All right.
But it's insane, like this documentary. If it's like, they had to have talked about the Janelle Grant shit for Vince McMahon to all of a
they
sudden,
did.
all of a sudden come out with this statement being like, yo guys, watch out. Like coincidentally, like a couple of days before this documentary is supposed to come out, being like, hey, all my meat writers, please, the producers intentionally. It sounds like so fucking like
It's very
politician.
Trumpy.
It sounds
It's
so
Trumpy.
politician.
I'm sorry, it's Trumpy. It's literally Trumpy.
Well, it's like,
And
yeah, before you watch this campaign ad from my political opponent, please remember that the producers do very, very out of context things about what I've done to all these different people. That just further proves
it's really
that you're guilty.
it's really just proves that he's
He's
guilty.
literally
for
getting it
one,
from Trump.
and it's like he's really trying to change the narrative and turn it on him to take the heat off him.
Yeah.
But it's like we know that's not what you're doing.
Well,
We know
that's the funniest thing. It's like the last thing he says is, "Oh, please keep an open mind." Basically saying to his meat writers, "When you watch this, please remember, I'm a good boy. Look what I
No, you're
did for
not.
your precious professional
Do you
wrestling."
not even that the stuff that he's been accused of, but the stuff that he did in the earlier days. I think his dad told him like not to go against the competition, to work with everybody. But what did he do? He did the exact thing that his father told him not to do when he was pretty much dying and stuff like that. And like you just went against all these territories to try to buy them out to make yourself a billionaire out of it. And Paul Heyman said about it to him about it. Punk in that glorious promo that he did in 2011, the pipe bomb, he called it. WWE
the
were not doing a better.
anti-bullying campaign.
And here's the thing, and it really just makes the promo that the pipe bomb that Punk did hold way more weight than it ever did, because he predicted the future, and pretty much he said like on the lines of like the WWE won't be elevated to a higher level or be seen at a higher level or be in a better place if Vince is not around.
Exactly.
So
he basically predicted that it would also be taken over by his daughter and his son-in-law, which for a time it was taken over by his daughter.
He did take it, yeah.
And then Hunter's running creative.
And here's the thing. But we know Vince is not going back to W, so we don't have to worry about that, because Vince has been out of touch for years. 4 years.
Well, even then, think about the storylines he was thinking up too, bro, especially involving his own daughter.
Yeah.
Where they did like a pregnancy storyline. They wanted Vince to be the father.
The stuff that he was doing on like some of the storylines he was coming up with, it just went in depth of like the demented ideas that he was
those
up
poor
with.
girls, bro. The Trish one. One with like Linda was like playing like a paraplegic, and she was just staring there watching Vince make out with Trish Stratus. Like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing?
And then the things that he was doing, because I think even other wrestlers called him out about it, this stuff in other interviews, like the fact that he would want them to sleep with him, and if they didn't, they would pretty much not be seen on television. They're
pretty much be like jobbers,
and or they probably would just get straight up fired. If you wanted to be a big star in that company, you had to do things that you did not want to do, and that is disgusting.
And to think we wouldn't have gotten like the second run of Brock Lesnar, where he was like the farmer boy and all that.
Oh Lord!
If it wasn't for the Janelle Grant shit. Oh my goodness!
But it's like the stuff that he was accused of, and that's like he's been out of touch for years. I remember when he took over WrestleMania 30, the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 39. That was horrible.
Literally the worst Raw in history.
And I'm looking at this and I'm like, what are we doing? And then I'm watching right after the
Seth
showing off the Seth stuff.
His moment.
Segment got cut. What happened? Cody wanted a chance for the WWE title after getting robbed the previous night, and I look back at it. Didn't Cody have enough? You already got screwed out of WrestleMania, the title, and what do you get for your troubles? You get beat to an oblivion for 10 minutes straight by Brock Lesnar, and what did they do to close off the show? Him flicking off the entire crowd.
It was basically hey, my buddy's back.
There was no great explanation. The only explanation is, oh, you got the main event. I did it. What?
Well, the thing also was like
Seth Omos was not going to main event. What
and
we're talking about.
the thing is as well with the Seth thing where it was like producers literally had to come out during the commercial break. Rollins probably had like all this shit rehearsed, probably had a whole segment booked. Probably
And the
someone was going to
scripts
come
were
out.
ripped up like and changed like 3 times for
Yeah.
one
Like minutes
show.
before the show, like hours even before the show.
I
People would have to
remember,
constantly do
and
stuff.
Dylan and I were talking about this literally like the night after. There was like, what was it? 2 women's triple threat matches, and it was
Yeah.
like the winners of those 2 matches would go on to face each other. Then they go and face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. Then that was changed to a number 1 contenders match for the women's tag team titles, even though Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler won the WrestleMania Showcase, which technically that would make them
That
the
should have
number
made
1
them the number 1
contenders.
contenders.
Because the Street Profits also faced Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on WrestleMania 39 after Raw, but that wasn't even for the tag team titles. So
Nope.
what was the point of them winning the fucking
They
Showcase?
always did things. They always would change things up, and in his mind thought it made sense. But when we look at it as an actual fan and digest it as a fan, it made no sense whatsoever. The fact that you constantly had week after week rematches, random matches
Oh,
that nobody
don't
cared about.
we
Tag team
technically
matches
have
nobody
that
cared about.
now too.
But at least now it's at least a little bit better in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of things because we at least have more things to enjoy, to overlook the things that
Oh,
we don't really
the
care
New
about.
Day, the New Day versus the Brawling Brutes every single fucking week, bro. It was so
Bro,
annoying.
I hated that, bro.
But either
With the
way,
freaking
it's
passion.
like fuck Vince McMahon. I'm watching that documentary because they're
I'm
also going to talk
watching it.
about Chris Benoit. I'm also looking forward to what they have to say about that. So you bet your ass I'm watching that.
I might even stream it. I might even stream it live.
I might also stream my reaction if I'm off work at that time.
I'm
Because
gonna be
holy
real. I did also want to talk about another person in WWE that I think should leave. Probably not go to AEW. Just probably should leave because he's not doing anything. He has won only one single match since he came back. I don't know why he is basically considered a legend at this point. And now he's devolved to a comedy character, a comedy jobber that can never win. I'm sorry, Carlito should not be in WWE anymore. Like they've fumbled him.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Like-
he's with the Judgment Day, but it's like he was there just for
Like it's fun. Like I guess it's something for him to do, but like still, I don't know why they even turned him heel. Honestly, I don't think it was smart of them to turn him heel.
In the grand scheme of things, he could have been something different because he could have been a great mid card champion again. I think he would have been great in that division. I just think now, I think he is just a side character. I think he's really just there for comedy relief anyway.
I think he's there just to take the pins. Like
Pretty much be like a
JD's busy. Let's bring Carlito.
He's pretty much more like a henchman for the faction for sure.
It's dumb. He shouldn't be.
It's like the mindless.
He's actually like
follower.
decent in the ring, decent.
Yeah.
He's like like a good enough for a mid card, like role, but we're
For
just,
sure.
Before
and people say like, "Oh, Carlito was never that good in the ring," and I'm like,
oh
no.
yeah, he was.
He was
Go back to the
literally
early days.
like a good mid carder. Like,
Great.
what are we talking about? Like, it's so dumb.
He was Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champion, I believe, and US.
US, yeah.
He was US and IC.
He was an IC US tag team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had a very accomplished career. Very, very accomplished career.
Yeah.
People would
Literally, all that's left is. I mean, he's
World.
not gonna get it now, but a world title is he'd be Grand Slam. But
Go to NXT, get that Grand Slam. But they wouldn't even count it as a Grand Slam anyway. But for Ricky Starks, before Vince McMahon posted his fucking bogus statement, Ricky Starks, bullshit conspiracy theories, always friends with Cody, like, and all that stuff aside. Oh, and Punk. Ricky Starks and Jade. Yeah. Ricky Starks literally has all the tools. He literally does. He can talk. He can go. He has the charisma. He has the character. He has the ego. He has everything.
Mm-hmm.
He has all the packages to be a great wrestler, like an LA Knight style wrestler.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
He
'Cause
could do a lot. All the dream matches
Mhm.
that he could do is astonishing. Bring him in NXT, bring him to the main roster, which honestly I say bring him straight to the main roster. Because, well, I think everyone already knows at this point, Ricky Starks is not on fucking TV. He's not being used. He's not anything. Tony Khan's like, oh, I would love for Ricky Starks to get more television time. You are the only one with the power to do so.
You're the
And aren't
booker.
doing it.
You're the booker. What do you mean you would love
it-
for
and-
him to do that?
And it's crazy because, like you said, he has, and I'm gonna get into mine since we're kind of transitioning into it anyway. My
Yeah.
my AEW wrestler going to W is Ricky Starks for my number one.
Yeah.
Like you said, similar to what you said, he has all the tools to be at a top level there. I mean, he does have friends there as well, and Cody and Jade and Punk. But that aside, he has all the tools. He can cut a great promo. Look at the promo that he cut between him and MJF when MJF became world champion, and that was his first feud. He literally went in on MJF. Not many people in AEW can go toe to toe with MJF on a microphone. Let's just be honest. Not many can cut a great promo in the likes of an MJF and other big names there. And the fact that you had somebody like that can do just that and exceed that, but
Yeah.
chose not to do that. And like, what are his only accomplishments in AEW? He won the FTW title. That wasn't nothing to really write home about. And then he won the tag team titles with Big Bill, but it's like
The worst
nobody really
AEW
cared.
tag team champions
Nobody
Like,
really
why
cared
Big
about
Bill?
that.
before EVP Bucks, but
It's like nobody really cared about that only because it's like it was a random
and
pairing. but it
then
was
like
just
yeah, and then he also beat Jericho, and it's like
and he
cool.
beat Punk. He beat Punk
He
to
beat
win that
Punk, yeah.
tournament.
He won Owen
That
Hart.
was
He beat
supposed to
Punk.
Punk
be a
twice.
big moment to him
Yeah.
twice. And it was supposed to be a big moment to help him go to that next level, which they did not capitalize on.
He
You
was
look at
supposed to face Punk at All Out before the All Out
exactly,
shit happened.
and you put him in WWE. You know what I'm? Hey, this might be a hot take. If fast forward to next week when NXT goes to the CW and we have Trick versus Ethan Page, if Trick wins that NXT championship, have Ricky Starks come in at the end of the show to lay out Trick Williams to set up a potential match between those two for the NXT championship. I would be for that. If you
That'd be
want to have
great.
him go up against Oba Femi, we'll love to see that. Have a David versus Elias storyline because we know he can cut a great
Hell,
promo. That's
even
a
if
big
you
face
bring
for him.
Ricky as a face, you could have it. Maybe you decide to keep the title on Ethan, and then you have
That would
Ethan
be
and
cool
Ricky.
too. Have him go if you want to go to main roster. I wouldn't be upset if he was the one to take the title off LA Knight. Those
Yeah.
matches that they can have, the promos they can have, we'll love to see the matches you can have with him over on SmackDown with the likes of Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Go over to Monday Night Raw, run back that feud between him and CM Punk. We'll love that. The matches with him and Drew, we'll love to see that. Him and
Matches with
Dominic,
him and
him and
Seth.
Dominic. Look at the promos they can have.
Him and Cody play like the friend storyline. where
Hey,
it's like,
you could do that. Could you imagine
Him
him
and
going to
Seth,
Raw?
him and Roman,
Seth.
even
him and Roman could be good too.
Oh, brother, that would be great.
him and
Hey, imagine him and Dominic
Valor,
because I feel
him
like
and
him going against
AJ.
Dominic would be funny.
Him and
There's
Braun
so much
Breaker.
potential with Braun would also
Ilya
be.
Dragunov.
Oh, that'd be so.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, that would be good for in ring.
and
I don't
Jay.
know if we need that. Jay would also be interesting. Yeah.
Jay Uso would be a good one too. Yeah.
Him and
And
Sammy. There's so much you can do with
Sammy,
Ricky in WWE. I don't. I was skeptical. I thought like maybe he'd be fine in AEW, but like it was clear that I was like, yeah, Cody's there, Punk's there, Jade's there. He got put into a makeshift tag team that ended up falling apart, falling flat, and nobody cared about. It's like
even like the promos that I can see him doing alone with Dominic, I think would be funny just because I could feel like he's the type of person that would just roast Dominic and the fans would love it. Every
Yeah.
Of course
single
they
bit of
would.
it.
He'd be like the most over baby face right then and there.
Oh yeah, you roast Dominic way worse than anybody else. He's easily gonna be a main eventer. Don't even like him and in
If you could
NXT
roast
was
Edge, if you could roast fucking Edge, you can roast anybody, bro.
pretty
Yeah.
much. And then my other wrestler as number one from WWE going to AEW is one that I think will shock some people, but I think what he's capable of doing and the style that I've seen him do, I think would be very interesting. And that is Cedric Alexander. I
Yeah.
think Cedric Alexander is somebody that I would love to see in AEW. I think you look at the stuff that he did in his earlier careers, the match that he had with Candice LeRae, which we were talking about, which was really good. Look what happened when he was in the Cruiserweight Classic, the match that he had with Kota Ibushi. That was like one of my favorite matches of 2016, non-main roster.
Ibushi is in AEW, so they
Exactly. If you want to run that match back,
Could run that
if you
back.
could
want to,
do
if you want
Cedric
to,
with Kenny. Like they could do
Cedric
Run
and
back
Kenny,
Cedric
wanna
and
do-
Ricochet.
you want to do Okada. If you want to bring this Hurt Syndicate with this new Hurt business, you can have him be involved with that. You can have a storyline going on with that, with him and Ricochet. You can have him against a Will Ospreay. There's numerous places for him to work there. And if you want, you can have him do the indie stuff at the same time. You can have him go over to the New Japan and compete in the junior heavyweight stuff. You can have him be in the G1. The stuff that he can do with new.
could have him run back another match with Ali. Like
Oh, easily. If you want to
Oh,
put him in TNA.
TNA.
Put him in TNA if you wanted to. Because the
I
stuff
mean, Ali's not in TNA anymore, but
Well, if he goes
No,
back.
but think about it. You have someone like a Cedric Alexander in AEW will be really, really good. The stuff that he can do.
yeah,
Like his style just works. And with him being a high flyer, look at what he did. I think it was in 2018 when they had the vacant the Cruiserweight title. He was a huge part of that and making it when him and Ali had that match at WrestleMania 34. This might be a hot take. People are gonna hate me for this. This was the best match of WrestleMania 34. I am sorry.
Oh, I
That
don't
match-
blame you.
That was the best match of WrestleMania 34, and it
And
was a
on the kickoff
cruiserweight
show.
match,
It was on a
A
kickoff show
cruiserweight.
too.
and they stole it. You had John Cena mesmerized before what he was seeing
He
because
loved
those
that.
two put up a classic that nobody else was able to follow up. Was Roman and Brock able to capitalize on that? No. Was AJ and Shinsuke able to capitalize on that? No, they could have, but didn't. You had that random tag team stuff with Braun Strowman and Nicholas versus, and not even Nicholas Jackson, a Nicholas 10-year-old kid against Sheamus and Cesaro. That wasn't good. You had Nia Jackson and Alexa Bliss. I was interested, but the match really wasn't that good.
AJ,
the only other match.
Nia won that match.
I'm gonna say this: the only other match on WrestleMania 34 that was really good was the Intercontinental Championship triple threat with Seth
that
Rollins,
was my
The
favorite
Miz,
one.
and Finn Balor.
That
the
match was
only two matches.
Fire.
Only two matches that I feel like
I
actually.
mean, there were a couple other
Very
matches that I kind of liked, but I don't think they were on like a high
Because the
level. They
U.S.
were
Space Four-Way, people wanted to going back.
They
to
were
talking about
like
with
so,
people
there were a
want
couple matches that I think were
Zero
just nice, like cool, cheap pop kind of matches. It's
Charlotte and Asuka was good until the finish.
like
oh Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Charlotte.
I
Charlotte,
mean,
I think the thing with
Asuka
that
not
one
winning was crazy,
is the
but
match was good. It's just the ending, the outcome, the result is
Yeah.
what people look back on that match for. The
um,
in-ring match, the in-ring psychology of it. I think
The
was
in-ring
in
really
my
good.
opinion, I thought I know that everyone loves to dunk on her now, but I thought Ronda and Kurt versus Triple H and Stephanie was fun.
Well,
was
that was very good. I
It
liked it.
wasn't incredible. It was just fun to watch, especially when Ronda was beating up Triple H.
That was cool just for that, and her beating up us on Stephanie. I think that was really
And
cool.
I thought, what's it called? I think there was a tag match. I think it was Shane and Brian versus Kevin and Sammy.
Oh, that was very good.
That was
that
good.
was too, but I think that really was good in the sense of Daniel Bryan coming
Story
back.
time.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan coming back.
And I
Yeah.
think like,
Plus, the story was good in my opinion.
but here's the thing:
I
that
love
Fatal
the build
Four-Way-
to that.
The Fatal Four for the U.S. title could have been something because you had Randy going in as champion, you had Jinder Mahal going as champion, you had Jinder Mahal won that,
Jinder Mahal walked out as champion.
and nobody wanted that. Like people wanted to see Miro be the one to win that title just because how over he was.
Well, yeah, Rusev Day.
And guess what happened? Guess what they did?
Jinder Mahal did it again.
No, not even that.
Yeah,
Miro's the one that took the pin in the match.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Jinder
I forgot
Mahal
about
hit him
that.
with the Colossus and pinned him for the title.
That just so they could say that Jinder Mahal took another championship from Randy Orton.
And then what
That was it.
happened? Didn't he lose it like 7 days later to Jeff Hardy?
Like 9 days later to Jeff Hardy. It was
And
like a
then-
week and a half
And
later.
then it's like, you look at, and what does Miro get? Later on in the year, he gets an opportunity at the WWE Championship against AJ Styles, which, don't get me wrong, I was excited when he won
Nobody
that
remembers it.
Nobody remembers it, but the moment when he won that number one contenders match, I was excited.
That was fire.
But did it work? No.
Nope.
And he got moved right back down to the
There
US
are
title scene,
a
and it moved right back down
few
to the
other people that I just found that I think probably could go to WWE. I don't know if they'll be necessary.
Yeah, we'll do honorable mentions. It could be for W or AEW, or whichever one you want it to be. For me, this is a crazy one. To WWE, one of them is Athena. I think her in the Triple H era, I think would be really good. I think he really did his best with her. I think the match that the story that he put her in when she was going up against Asuka, who was undefeated at the time, I think that was really good. When she came up to the main roster, it was an okay debut. Just the follow-up was bad. Hikaru Shida's another one that I think would be cool in WWE, possibly. Because I don't really know what they're gonna do with her in AEW right now. Considering how stacked it's starting to get.
My honorable mention is Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho is another one, yeah, for sure. Maybe you could reunite. I don't know, because they could always reunite the Riot Squad, but
they'd have to completely repackage Valhalla for that.
I don't even want to see it because of how they have really done with Liv as of.
I'd argue just do a feud between Ruby and Liv.
Ruby and Liv.
Yeah.
Another one I would love to see. Maybe doing DIY going to AEW, being part of that tag team division, adding another stacked tag team for their division.
Street Profits.
Street Profits is another one. But I think Street Profits, I think is good. I think Montez is a singles competitor. I think we need to get that at some point. We need to get that ball rolling for sure. Yes. Another wrestler that I think I would love to see back in WWE is Buddy Matthews, aka Buddy Murphy. Him and right now, I think in the Triple H regime, I think would be really good. I think he would be a great addition to that Intercontinental US title scene, whichever brand they decide to put him on. Another, this might be a shocking one. Dalton Castle. I think he's a guy that I think has potential, but they haven't really capitalized on him either. Especially in, Ring of Honor, he's well known, but AEW hasn't really garnered the same feel for him.
Yeah.
And this one was actually one that I wanted to go with just because him and NXT really fits, and that is Danhausen. I think Danhausen's character overall fits the NXT regime, honestly, because I feel like he has the opportunity to do something, but I think his character is kind of holding him back. Top Flight, you could put in WWE. Top Flight. Yeah. Could you imagine Top Flight versus DIY? Top Flight versus the Lucha Brothers, Top Flight versus Motor City. Those are matches that I would love to see.
It seems like Tony is trying to kind of breathe some new life into Top Flight, but it's I'm still very skeptical. Also, just add in Action and Andretti because he basically is part of Top Flight now.
Another guy.
It's why did I don't know. There were multiple times that Top Flight was just kind of given up on, dropped the ball on, having them continue to lose. The fact that they were supposed to lose against Ricky and Bill in that tag team tournament is insanity. It's crazy. It's they shouldn't have even lost to FTR. It should have been Bucks versus Top Flight. Even if you
Top Flight winning that tournament, bro.
And there's other names on here that I would love to see in WWE,
even
Lance
if you
Archer,
Bucks,
Kyle O'Reilly is another one. I just think.
I think Kyle's doing good right now.
I think he's doing good, but I kind of do miss his
Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, I'd love to see back in WWE.
Him is another one. How would you feel about Nick Wayne?
Nick Wayne
in WWE.
No, I think he's good right now.
I think he's good.
I think there were some other names on here that I was thinking of. maybe Samoa Joe, if he could find his way back to WWE, I think he would actually have a
No, I don't
legit
think
chance.
I don't think he'd want to go back.
Sammy Guevara, maybe.
No, keep him
No.
away from my company. No.
Oh, I think Guevara's doing perfectly
Oh,
fine. in
this
AEW.
one just might seem like just being biased. Well,
Ash
there's
by
two.
Elegance.
No, she's in TNA. Leo Rush is another one.
Oh,
Him in
okay.
WWE would be cool.
Could be
I think
interesting. Put him in
him-
the top flight. Why not?
Hey, this one might be just biased, but I know it's not gonna happen ever again. The ship has sailed, but John Moxley, I would love to see John Moxley as John Moxley. In
Yeah, I
WWE.
don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I would
but
love to see him
it'd be
finally
good
get.
to see.
He kind of just. I know he's like said he's fine with Triple H and all, but I think deep down he hates him. I
And I
think he
would
just
just love to
hates.
see him be able to accomplish the things that he hasn't really gotten to accomplish, like winning the Royal Rumble, being the one member of the Shield that never won that, and headline at WrestleMania. I think that was something I always wanted to see. We'll probably talk about that on a different episode because I think one of the future videos that we'll probably discuss is some of WWE's biggest mistakes. I think some of the things that we probably wanted to see from WWE do that they didn't. So, but that is this episode for bringing it to the ring. We brought you 5 wrestlers that should go to AEW, to 5 that should go to WWE. Comment down below, let us know what are some wrestlers that you feel like should go to WWE if they're in AEW, and if they're in WWE, which wrestlers you think should go to AEW. Leave it all down in the comment section down below. We'll try to engage as much as we can with you guys. We will be doing some more content this week. We will be doing a Try Not to Laugh reaction video, so stay tuned for that. That probably coming in the next day or two, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
We also will be doing another draft video. We'll be doing 2 parts, so we'll try to see who can draft the best male roster. Well, that's part 1, and the second part, who can draft the best female roster. We'll be doing a tier list similar to how we did recently, so be on the lookout for that.
Is this just all wrestling, or is it just like AEW? Or
we'll do WWE for these 2 parts, and then we'll do another part 2 parts, and that'll be for AEW. So be on the lookout for those. So it'll be 4
technically already do the WWE one then? Because
technically we kind of did, but
technically we did.
We did a all roster, but I was thinking maybe just splitting it up. But we could do AEW, but we will for sure do this reaction, and then next week, I think next week, probably late this week, we'll do Bad Blood predictions. I want to wait to see how everything pretty much gets confirmed, because I know we still have this week and pretty much next week before Bad Blood. It's not even it's not this Saturday, it's the following
I don't
Saturday,
know if you guys heard, by the way, regarding Bad Blood. As of last week, Cody and Roman versus Solo and Jacob is main eventing.
I thought Punk and McIntyre are main eventing now.
No, apparently as of last week, it's the
I feel like that match is probably gonna become main eventing. Honestly,
I feel like that match is gonna kick off. Blood then.
Hell in a Cell? No. That's the worst decision you can make. You're literally gonna get people checking out early. Like, no. It's stupid that like the Hell in a Cell should main event. I don't understand that. It's just
like that was what made Bad Blood.
It's a literal that like having a normal tag team match against like go after Hell in a Cell. That's some like Bischoff WCW shit.
Now, that's some Vince Russo type stuff right there.
Yeah, that's a Vince Russo thing. Like, no. Hell in a Cell and Bad Blood. It's a B show. You have your best feud and storyline of like in the company right now. The Hell in a Cell should main event.
And then we also will be doing a tier list ranking the WWE title belt designs. So be on lookout for that as well, because I think that is something else we have been in talks about doing as well. I do want to potentially get into some streaming, but it depends on our schedule, you guys. So that's why you don't see us stream as much. But if I'm streaming, then I usually try to stream as much to this channel as I can. But we will be try to do some streams in the future, so stay tuned. But definitely we got more content on the way. But Willie, do you guys have anything to share before we head out?
We have Raw tonight. That's basically it.
Yay.
Yeah, we have
Jay's
Sammy
we do have
losing.
Braun,
Kaiser, we have
Braun
Braun
versus Jay
versus
Uso.
Jay, and then we have Drew there.
Running up tonight on Raw.
Drew is just gonna be like, I'm gonna kill CM Punk. That
I'm going
stupid
to hurt
bastard.
him.
Sammy versus Kaiser should be fun, in my
Who
opinion.
versus Kaiser?
Sammy.
Oh, okay.
I think that's gonna be a good match.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some new Judgment Day stuff. I think the only thing with that I'm hoping is we do get a stipulation added to the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley match. I just feel like I think I've seen enough as them. Which one-on-one, I think we need a stipulation. And I think with the pay-per-view being Bad Blood, I think we need stipulations. And I don't think we just need just the Hell in a Cell match and that's it. We need stipulations. We need a stipulation for this feud. I wouldn't be surprised if they made the main event so-called between Cody and Roman versus Jacob and Solo, a tornado tag. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
I'd love if that was a tornado tag.
Yeah, because it's a stipulation. It's something different.
Just
I
have
don't
Jacob
want a
Fatu
just
wreck
regular
some
tag
shit.
team match.
Jacob Fatu can literally destroy both of them.
If you wanted to, yeah.
It's crazy that basically, like, those three, Roman, Jacob, Cody, are gonna be basically carrying Solo through a match.
Yeah, Solo is just
It's crazy because like Solo. See, the thing is, Solo's good. Solo can wrestle,
but he's not at a main event level. He's
certainly good at promos, but they're not booking him as such. He's just, I think it's just he's not that guy anymore. He's just kind of fallen off. This bloodline stuff has kind of brought him down, dragged him down, and
we know it's just going to be worse for him when we ever do get that inevitable like Rock return and finding out that he's been behind this whole thing. Like,
I'll be honest, the only way that the bloodline stuff tag match it can reasonably main event Bad Blood is if Rock is showing.
The only way that can work
Rock
is
does not
have show up. We have to probably get Hikuleo possibly and a Jimmy Uso return. We have to get like at least 2 out of those 3.
It's probably going to be
Jimmy,
but
I think Jimmy is going to come in, but I can see Hikuleo coming in as well.
Hikuleo's going to
NXT.
Okay. So we'll probably have to get Jimmy Uso for sure.
We'll probably have to wait like probably about 6 months to a year before Hikuleo gets to.
Apparently, Julia has her first render. Put it in the group chat.
Also be sure to check out my individual channel where I will be cutting the Vince McMahon Netflix rant that we made in this stream, because that's going to be a fire video. Hopefully it gets some massive views. Go subscribe to Really Does Wrestling, but also subscribe to this channel as well. Come on, man, get those numbers up.
Yeah.
Tonight from Ontario, we get Wreckage from to start and a banger
Ontario?
to end. Yes, Ontario. We get Wreckage to start and a banger to end. Drew McIntyre promises hell for CM Punk and a big night for Sami Zayn fans.
And then, go subscribe to Willie's channel. He's been doing his thing over there. Go subscribe to my channel as well. I've been doing pretty much daily wrestling content. I've been doing reactions. I've been doing like the best stuff, different WWE years. I recently just put out best WWE matches of 2020. Tomorrow I will be doing best WWE matches of 2021 and on so forth and so forth. I might do an AEW, try to do an AEW compilation, but I don't know because AEW is very strict with reacting to their content, so I don't know. But I will try to implement more reaction stuff. But we will be doing a try not to laugh this week. I think the one we'll be doing is best. We'll do try not to laugh WWE sus moment compilation. So be on the lookout for that because we know WWE says some crazy stuff, but that's gonna be very funny to do. But stay tuned for more content coming out this week from myself, Leo, from Wolf, from Willie. This is Bringing It to the Ring, and we will see you guys very, very soon. Two sweets, and we are out here.
Bye-bye.